Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women how they can create healthy, happy, sustainable lives. And I'm really delighted because today I'm joined by Ryan Cowley. Hi, Ryan.
Uh, um, uh, uh, g- her new Judy.
Yeah, well,
I called you Judy again, Julie.
sorry, I don't mind. So, for
Okay.
those of you that don't yet know Ryan, he works as a sports writer and author, and he's also a professor. So, before we get into talking about that, tell us, Ryan, what was life like for you? Because I know that you have a stutter. What was
Yeah.
life like for you when you were growing up?
Hmm. That's a good question. I don't know. It's funny thing about Stutter because when I first started, because um, uh, because uh, when I started Stutter, I was about 6 or 7 years old, and no, no, and the first time I was perceived to have it, I didn't really have a good grasp on it. But let me explain. Uh, like in my kindergarten class, um, there's a woman, a speech therapist, who came to see me. Uh, and I mean, I guess the teacher knew about it, and I trusted her. But at the same time, um, it was a situation where it's like, um, I don't know, I don't know why this woman, this speech therapist, is here and why she wants to see me. Uh, um, yeah, so he went to like a room across the hallway, and I remember just sitting there. Uh, um, it was so many years ago, so my memory's not 100%. But what I do remember is just sitting in the room speaking with a speech therapist. Uh, that was like maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, and then afterwards, the speech therapist was like really encouraging. Uh, 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 um, uh, um, it's uh, uh, just like give me like these comments and how good that was. And I mean, it was nice to hear, but uh, with all due respect, at the same time, because I wasn't sure what was going on. It was, I was also like sort of confused. I'm like, I don't know why you're so impressed with that. Uh, I was just talking really. Yeah, 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 uh, yeah, because I remember like a few years earlier. No, no, uh, no, 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 no. Uh, um, excuse me. No, 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 I mean, I had a bit problem like opening up, like verbally. I think I was very shy. I wouldn't go as far as saying I had social anxiety as a 4 year old, but um, and the reason I say that is because like I did see a speech therapist when I was about 3 or 4, and that was the reason for that. It wasn't because I stuttered yet. Uh, 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 um, yeah, so when I saw this speech therapist, like the even the first few times I saw her, it was like, um, I mean, I know it. I mean, I know issues cooperating and went along with it, but it was an issue where it's I'm not fully sure what's going on. No, no. And then I guess as time went on over the next few months, even early on when I was starting, I didn't think anything was wrong, for lack of a better term. And then all of a sudden, whether in school, like with family, but I think especially in school because I got especially nervous there. I think that's when I first really started experiencing like my own stuttering firsthand. Yeah. And as you can imagine, there are other kids in school throughout the years, like high school, not so much, but definitely elementary school where where I was teased and bullied, yeah, no, and while the teasing and bullying would subside as I got older, it was a situation where if I went into a store and asked where something was, for example, and I would stutter, and I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people would be really taken aback, not know what's going on, and of course, explaining that was especially difficult, given that I had such a hard time speaking anyway, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds well, I can only imagine what that must have been like for you. And I guess the reaction of other people, like you say, in your life must have been really at sometimes clearly cruel if you were bullied, but also
Yeah.
it must have been very frustrating, I imagine.
Oh yes.
People who either lack the education around it, but also don't have the time and patience. I guess sometimes people just don't know how to be. Sometimes trying to finish do they ever try to finish your sentence or?
Yeah. And it's funny. That's one of those situations where sometimes I don't mind that, and other times I do. No. No. For example, like the times I do mind it is like when people ask what my name is, and sometimes I have trouble on my name, because I have trouble with the R sound sometimes, and it may take me a few seconds, sure, but if you're asking me what my name is, I think it's only right that I say it, barring something unforeseen. Yeah. So when I try and the person next to me says my name for me, it's like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So as a result of growing up with a stutter, Ryan, what would you say were the kind of beliefs that you inherited, maybe, about the good ones and the bad ones, maybe from the way you saw yourself or the way other people saw you, the world saw you? Did you have some beliefs that have stayed with you?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what? It's like, uh, 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 um, um, no, 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 no. I feel as human beings, like maybe not all of us. But for the most part, certain things are, just our collective mindset is negatively charged. So it's like, if you're thinking about certain situations, um, you know, even though there are a lot of positives, you shift your focus to the negative first, uh, and this is like an ideal example of this because no, no, because I remember when I was like junior high and early high school, um, like for example, I remember this one kid whose locker was a few down from mine in grade 7. Yeah, because I think the previous morning I went to like the cafeteria and asked for a chocolate muffin. Um, and I had trouble getting going. So I was like, can I? And I had a hard time on the C with can. And and this kid, by the next day or a couple days later, we were both opening our loggers, and I could hear whisperingly mocking me, like, can I have it? And, no, no, no. And honestly, I was too shy or maybe too passive to do anything. So I went home, and I remember talking to my grandma about it, and no, no. And I just remember thinking, like I was so angry about that then, but unfortunately, I had been angry about not just that, but other situations like over the next few years. I'm just like, uh, just one of these things where I took these few negative experiences and just held on to so much anger for God, about, yeah. I'm not proud of saying this, but I can say it was like about 4 or 5 years of it. But I don't know. It's just, I think just as you get older, even like later in high school, but in college, the workplace, and whatever, it's just like, a lot of people are a lot more accepting of it. And that's kind of the perspective I really. I mean, it took a while to get a hold of, believe me, but especially over the last 5-10 years, it was just a case of okay, yeah, there are people in your past, who thought less of you or nothing of you because you stutter, but but yeah, when really stop and think, like a good example is moving cities to buy a new house. You can think of all the cons, but if you, if you write down the list of pros and cons, the cons will be I don't know, 5 or 6, and then the pros will be ballpark, and you'll have a lot more pros and cons, and that was the same with this. It's yeah, there are a lot of kids of my youth who, tease and mock me or laughed or whatever. And there are still people who do that, unfortunately. But you know what? No.
If you're typing in the chat box, Ryan, people can't see that.
Yeah, no, yeah, no. Yeah, sometimes I'll type, so yeah. So what I'm typing is for my benefit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You carry on doing that.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I should say that before. No, but long story short, it's like, yeah, for every one person you have a negative experience with, there are 10 people with who have positive experiences.
Brilliant. I've looked at your LinkedIn profile, Ryan, and you have some amazing testimonials. And I know that what you do, you're really successful in your career.
Yeah.
How did you get to do what you do today and absolutely love?
You know what? Back when I started the sports writing, hockey writing, because I tell a lot of people this, if people hear me speak and hear me stutter, now I'm just making my own assumption. I'm not saying this is the case, but some people can hear me stuttering and think come to the inaccurate conclusion that I'm not smart or not intelligent. However, when I'm writing, people's conclusion is going to be the complete opposite of that, and that's a big reason why I started it, but why I keep doing it. In the first few years, I did hockey running. I did a lot of opinion pieces and previews, recaps, and that was all well and good. I enjoyed that. But I remember in 2014, I think, or maybe it was 2013. I said I wanted to try something new. I know I had, in order to get really good stories, I want to be able to talk to other people. And of course, at the time, I immediately thought, well, unless they're in town and I schedule something, there's no way I can talk to them. And then I thought, I have such a considerable hard time speaking on the phone. And that is probably how I'd get most of these interviews anyway. But it was just one of those instances where it's like, oh, geez, I really don't want to use the phone. But then I remember thinking, maybe a few days later, because the thought of interviewing, just even though the excuse I was giving myself were enough to make me quit, it just kept coming back, right? And I thought, well, I really want to, I really wanted to test out options for this, because Because first thing I thought of, there's phone, but there's also email. There's even text. It's like, I mean, text isn't as formal, but still in all. Like, again, it was just one of the things where it's like, okay, if this was 20 years ago, I'd have a bit harder time. But like, I mean, with all the advancements in technology over the last even 5 years at that juncture, I thought, well, I mean, there has to be a way to do it. And I remember one morning, I was up at like 5 a.m. because at the time I worked a Monday to Friday job where I had to be up at 4, and on the weekends I was just voluntarily up at 5. And I thought, well, I'm going to reach out to email multiple members of the Los Angeles Kings, and because I figured, well, LA is 3 hours behind us, so it's 5 a.m. here. It's possible that some of these people haven't gone to bed yet in LA. So maybe I'll get a response right away. Maybe I'll get a response later. It doesn't matter. But so I created this email template, like who I am, what I'm looking for, and of course a forewarning to like I stutter and like being on the phone, speaking on the phone rather, has always been difficult for me, and that we can do email interviews if that's an option. Those who got back to me, 99.9% of them were more than understanding and more than willing to be accommodating. Which took a huge load off me, and that's kind of how it started. It was just like a few of them were email, which all well and good, but in terms of my speech, I knew that was more counterproductive because I wasn't speaking and I wasn't helping myself really. And besides, usually, no fault of their own, but usually when people write back via email, it's 1 or 2 sentences where it's like over the phone. I mean, you really have to put the emotional aspect into it. And this has happened often with me. If I ask a question, they start telling a story, which when you transcribe it can be like a paragraph or too long. And then that story reminds them of something else, so they go into a digression. That's like a couple more paragraphs. It's just the amount of information from email versus to the phone is astronomical. So, and that's why I really want to do it. And I thought, because my brother suggested this, he said, well, how about you use like a voice synthesizer? And I mean, I thought, well, you know what? I couldn't afford that, but there had to be something like that. So, so I just started like pre-recording my questions on an app, and because I always remembered that that if I ever picked up my phone and I knew when no one was there, I could speak fine. But once I dialed the number and I could hear the dial tone, it's like, oh, I could barely get a word out. So why not try that? It's like type out the question, say nap, record it, and then call the person and just text them with an extra forewarning if you need to. And that's pretty much how that worked. I do enjoy writing the opinion piece every now and then, but honestly, I really enjoy just reaching out to people and speaking to them over the phone.
Yeah. So this is a really, really big deal, isn't it, Ryan?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You're speaking, obviously it's not live. It's you're live with me.
Yeah.
But by the time people hear this, it won't be live. But
Right.
it's quite extraordinary that you're doing that, and I just really want to, kind of take my hat off to you for, having courage to step out of your comfort zone when you've just said, how that's not an easy thing for you. So if someone watching is, has a stutter,
yeah,
what would you like to say to them? Is there something in particular?
Yes, actually. You know what? Yeah, around the time I came up with this, I was unemployed, and let's just say I didn't appreciate how things ended from the job I was let go from. So, you know what? Yeah. So I do remember, like for the first little while, I was very angry and bitter, and and you know what? I was, and like it was years ago, I was very prone to like make excuses and to say, "Oh well, too bad I stutter. I can't do this. Oh well." And I'm guilty of this. Like after I left my job, in addition to being angry, angry and bitter, I was more content to feel sorry for myself than do anything productive. And like, yeah. So my advice, to anyone who stutters is twofold. One, don't make excuses. And two, don't feel sorry for yourself, because like no, and believe me, it's very easy to believe someone who says, "Oh, you're not going to do it. You don't have what it takes." But you know what? I guarantee you that if you ask anyone in the world, whether they're entry level or whether they're a top CEO, I am almost certain that everyone has been told that. So you know what? No. And I can tell you firsthand that that the rare times I have told someone that you're not going to do it, I was angry, bitter, and jealous. Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah. Hey, that's. I'm so glad you've brought that up and said that, because actually, what you're saying, it's everyone can. No matter whether they've got a stutter or something else that they're challenged by. We all can make excuses and tell ourselves we can't do it, or believe other people who say we can't do it. But actually, it's really important for us to step out of our comfort zone and do those things so we can prove to ourselves that we are more than perhaps we thought we were before we did that thing. So thank you so much, Brian, for actually bringing that up. Now, I know that it's estimated that 1% of the adult population stutter.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
If it's 1%, how can the rest of us 99%, support people who are in that 1%? What can we do?
Excuse me. Take excuse me. Take the time to research. And be patient. No. Oh no. And don't assume. Yeah. I think that's the big thing for me because, no. It's what I mentioned just a little while ago. Just it's a case of like, get the door, please. Not all, not even most, but like some, if they hear someone stutter, they could, and some have general conclusion that, oh well, this person's not smart, this person's not intelligent, or this person lacks confidence. One person one person has assumed that I was abused as a child, and it's like, no, I wasn't. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think there's a phrase, isn't there, about assumptions. When you assume, you make an ass of you and me.
Yeah. Yes, true. Right.
Yeah. What are you most proud of, Ryan, of all the things that you've done? What's the thing?
Oh God, man. You know what? Um. Uh. Um. 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 I have. Struggled with depression for about, oh geez, I mean, I was diagnosed with depression in 2004, but yeah, the earliest I can sense having depression was maybe 97 or 98. Um, um, no. And I admit some of it does stem from my stuttering, but and I've had my serious battles with depression. No, no. Um, so I am most proud of still here, hold on. I am most proud of still being here and still being alive.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That sure is something to be proud of. And I do hope that you're going to be proud of yourself for actually doing this when clearly, it's not something that is in your comfort zone particularly. So one final question, Ryan.
Sure. Of course.
When you are no longer on this planet, how would you like to be remembered?
As a kind and empathetic man who overcame his demons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know what else to say, but thank you so much, Ryan Cowley, for talking to us today.
Absolutely.
I will put your links underneath this video, but I just feel really inspired by who you are and the difference you're making by pushing on through and not making those excuses. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You or it is opportunity, Julie.